Do-do-do-do-do.
Let's see if we got some data bits going out to everybody. How are we doing? It's Wednesday. We're just talking about how wonderful the big, clunky, slow application stores are and why people should always use them. That's probably not what we were talking about. That's not in that particular way.
Yeah.
Everything's got its use. Middle of the week, we got not one, but two RISC-V laptops to talk about. One might even be more expandable outside of the old-fashioned laptop format. So stay tuned for that. And of course, Debian packaging and why you should never install a Debian package that you've downloaded on the internet. Danger. And of course, everybody's favorite feature. Favorite feature of Linux. The blue screen of like, wait, that's about to show up? Yeah. Another one. A second one.
Oh boy.
These are all things that will happen. All right, I got that put together. Boop.
Okay.
Boop.
Got Twitch up and running, just in case our bridge is still down, so.
No, our bridge is gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Okay.
It's not coming back. You know, I worry about it being down. Nobody report anybody about it being down. If you want to type in Discord, we'll read it in Discord. If you want to type in Twitch, we'll read it in Twitch. If you want your things to show up on the screen on Twitch, type in Twitch. It's simple as that. All right. There we go. We're going to stick with it today. We got about 9 minutes before go time. Haven't seen anything too crazy this morning. I was reading a little bit about the Firefox, what was it, Chief Product Officer? I gotta, let's see, what did I post in Discord? Man, everybody has to start posting after I post something. Yeah, the Chief Product
a lot of
Officer.
Yeah.
Had to go out for like 3 months because he had a cancer treatment. And he went out for like 3 months and they put him on suspension saying, well, you can't do your job anymore. We're going to get rid of you.
Bad.
That's
Bad
just
Mozilla.
reading.
Don't do that.
They'll get it figured out. I don't know. I mean, that's just what the brief filed in the court says. He's still technically the chief product officer. They put him on like indefinite or like whatever leave or whatever. I don't know. He's not pleased about it. There we go. Hey, look at the bot jumping right on that. Good on you, little bot. Well, we got that together. And yeah, I think everything else is pretty much in one piece. If you get a chance, you want to see some actual comedy, go watch in the after shows when we tried to play Sworn.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
Nubbin jumped in
fun.
and
I saw that.
It was working fine on his end, but we were having connection issues with him on our end. So
I remember his character was just shaky. It was going in and out.
Just kind of jumping around, bouncing around, and it was very much unintentionally hilarious. It was pretty good times. Pretty good times. All right.
Okay, I will be right back.
All right. Let me take a look here. See what we got going. Do I have anything following on this account? No, I don't. Man, so YouTube's trying out a new thing. You might even see it. You might even see it if you've posted. I saw it for the first time in action because I posted that honest trailers for the Akira movie. It's a little indie flick made a couple of years ago. You might not have heard about it, but it's a bit underground. It's an obscure anime title. And I'd seen it in my YouTube dashboard for like maybe the past week. So when we go to post a video, I got to make some thumbnails or it'll like auto select thumbnails. Now instead of just having one place to put a thumbnail, it's got a space to put two. So I can A/B test thumbnails. I can put like one thumbnail here and it'll just randomly give you different thumbnails and it'll tell you which thumbnail more people click on. So it's incentivizing clickbait thumbnails. YouTube's actively doing that right now. And I noticed it today because what I posted on the Discord client on the desktop, when I cut everything on, I'm like, oh, that's neat. I put it in Discord. then I was checking Discord on the tablet in the breakfast nook, and it had a different thumbnail on it. And I'm like, oh, some people are using that. I'm not going to be using that. You don't have to worry about that. You're not going to get multiple thumbnails. This is all I can do to make one thumbnail. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes you just get a screenshot of like, hey, and we're just doing this thing. There we go. Now that I'm in here, how far am I getting on the, I got the intro done for that audio science ASI 5211. Now I got to walk through. That's like my project tomorrow is to, because I did something a bit different on that one. You know, normally when I do a video for an audio interface or this particular thing, a commercial broadcast format converter, because the whole theme of the video is people love to buy server hardware and repurpose it for home use. This is along the same lines of taking broadcast hardware and like, hey, can we use this in a home PC? Instead of just showing you, here's what you do. Now that's going to be in the article, you know, my write-up, and like, here's how you can or cannot get it working and what works and what doesn't. But in the video, we're going to go through, like, let's just start with plugging this thing in and taking everybody through the troubleshooting and like what you would look and what you would search for to get something like this up and working, just to try to flex those skills where people can go, okay, all right, oh, maybe I should try that, you know, just to build that knowledge base, be a little bit more educational. Maybe. We'll try it, see if it works. It might not. You're like, no, I just wanted to watch the thing. And on top of that, I probably spent a good 25, 30 minutes being perplexed. Being perplexed about not being able to get Darksiders 2. Oh, Banana Pedro's still way back in the back. I need to fix that eventually. What was it? Darksiders 2. Is it a War Masters edition? I don't know. Darksiders 2 War Master. I think War Master is Darksiders 1, right? Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition for Darksiders 2. Yeah, that doesn't work on Steam. Doesn't work on Steam. Still to this day. Like, I went back to that 2018 report. It still spike crashes. And it's to do with the media stuff. Like, they're starting to get deep into it. Some people are. Striders in Discord, I think you're mishearing me. I said it doesn't work in Steam with my NVIDIA card. Yeah, put the NVIDIA card thing on the end. And that's why the bug report's still open on the Proton GitHub. But yeah, there was no way I could find to get it up and running, which is unfortunate. But I ran into another problem with Darksiders 1, to the point where I kind of quit playing it. It was a fun game. I spent some time with it. When did I have some time to do that? Monday it took a couple hours just like, I'm going to play some video games. And I played a little bit of Darksiders 1, and it was like, man, this game has no stories whatsoever. Fun game, Arita, a spectacle brawler-ish kind of, We have Bayonetta at home very much. And so I went to look at like the cutscenes, and the cutscenes don't render. The in-game stuff, like, it just skips between, oh, there was supposed to be story here. So I was missing all this story. So I got to the point where I was playing it a little bit, watching the YouTube video, so that was getting filled in. Then I finally got tired of it, and I just watched the rest of the YouTube video. Which worked better. And that just leaves Darksiders 3. Apparently they made one. This all got started because I was going to get Darksiders 3 because it was on sale for like $6 or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? I need to check out the first one. And that reminded me. I was like, well, does the definitive editions ever work? And like, I can get that working. And apparently they made one after 3, but it's like some top-down co-op, like torched Diablo-esque thing going on. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what I ended up doing is just watching the cutscenes on the Darksiders 2 movie. Then I didn't watch the Darksiders 3 movie. I might pick that up next time it goes on sale and play through that. But yeah, the first two, I just ended up watching the rest of the Darksiders 1 movie. And I watched the second one. You know, just all the cutscenes put together. And I started getting angry at the guy who made the video because he kept on inserting his crap my level of bad gameplay into there, like trying to show that off. And I'm like, and it was pointless stuff too. Like, here's me running around the boss. It was kind of wild. All right. I got that loaded up, and here we go. What are you guys complaining about? Avatar? Oh. Yeah, I never played Avatar. I wanted to play Avatar when I heard about it, then I realized it was a first-person game. First-person perspective, and that type of game get wrecked. I had no interest in it. Like, I even watched somebody play it, and I'm like, nope. I'm not touching that. You ever watch the Avatar movie, Jill?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I watched the first one. You know what? I watched a little bit of the second one, and I realized I didn't care.
Yeah, I watched the first one. I of course love the effects, but the story was This wasn't my favorite, but I love the visuals. They ripped off lots of science fiction art. Peter Woodruff was one. But I like the CG and everything. And the environments were beautiful.
Yeah,
but I
didn't mind
hadn't seen the
first
second one. I know a lot of people like the story in the second one better, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched a little bit of the intro of it, and I kind of skipped around. It was a play on whatever I was playing on.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I just didn't care, really. Like a lot of stuff, I did get caught up on Doctor Who. I'm excited for the next episode. It's going to be the series final, because apparently they decided to make Sherlock levels of series. Like, next week this coming week is going to be the last one, and it's Doctor Who, so it could be anywhere between 2 and 5 years.
Yes.
For the next ones.
Seen the first 3. I need to catch up. Mm-hmm.
They're all right. They had some sleepers. They were kind of boring, but yeah, last week's episode got me interested again. Got me very interested for what's coming up this week to put a bow on it. Oh, I'm like, all right, let's go. But there's always the
when
farewell. I hope you come back before I kick the bucket.
Yeah, and when it comes back, I always have to go back and rewatch like the last 2 episodes, so you can remember what happened.
That's a wild time, man. Like, that's just how the BB. But maybe with Disney, with that Disney funding, Disney's like, nah.
No, a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you gotta, we got to do whatever year, okay?
I was so happy that Disney got the rights to it. So
they financed it, and they got merchandising rights. They don't have any creative control over it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
That is completely. That was the only way they got old Moffat back, because they're like, "Will you please come save the series?" And he's like, "Only if I get to do it exactly like I want to do it, and you guys don't get to say anything about it." And they're like, "Fine." Oh, Bad Wolf Productions. Is handling everything, and it very much feels like his show again.
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
Which is good, because even though at its heart Doctor Who is a kid show, Like it's supposed to keep that energy.
Yeah, it was
in
Saturday morning, Saturday morning adventure.
And it kind of lost its way, and it really started losing its way around the Capaldi era. And like, let's get it back to what it's supposed to be good at.
Yeah. And I think they're doing a good job. Yeah, it is cool to see TARDISes around Disneyland. It's quite surreal. So yeah, we have TARDISes now around the park. There's about 3 of them.
A bunch of Scottish police boxes.
Yeah. And it's so funny how people, don't know. So many people don't know what it is if they're not into sci-fi. But most, like the diehard Disney fans, they're, fans of sci-fi and whatnot. So there's that same crossover. But there's enough people that sit there and stare. What is this? Because they put it right in the middle of Fantasyland. It was awesome. It's just been quite funny to see people's reactions.
Well, that'd be good to get them to look it up. You're like, what's going on?
And then there's those of us who just immediately started taking pictures in front of them.
Well, I mean, it works both ways, though, right? And if you know, like, what's a police box doing here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, huh. All right. Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, it's funny, Mary. Yeah, Disney princess. A Disney prince.
Well, they can make Jodie a princess.
Yeah. Only one, though. Only besides companions, they can make princesses.
Make them, all right. All that loaded. Are you gonna behave? All right. All right, it is behaving. I got like some weird static on the 828. I had it plugged in through a 1/4-inch jack. It was just one of those things where I initially... Oh, I had to explain this to somebody. You got 2 types of balance connections. You got a 1/4-inch and you got an XLR. Electronically, they're the exact same. Just different connectors. And I was trying to help somebody get their terminology correct so they could ask the question correctly, so I could understand it. Because they wanted an audio interface with XLR, and I'm like, XLR, do you need... It was like, I think they said something like, I need 4 XLR inputs, and I'm like, do you need 4 balance connections, or like, what's going on? And they're like, what do you mean? No, I need the XLR connection. I'm like, you can just adapt that, right? They're like, no, it has to be the XLR. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, pop the connector off and just put an XLR, put a 1/4-inch on it. It's the same thing. Same signal. It's just a different metal housing on it. That's all it is. There's no difference whatsoever. It doesn't change anything. And like, what it turned out, they were meant to say balanced. They needed a balanced connection. Then we got that cleared up. Then I could help them with their issue. Yeah, but I mean, what do you want? Do you want a Chris Hemsworth?
That's true, Jordan. Yeah, Thor and Ripley. Disney princesses.
All right. How's that? All right, I think I'm hitting everything. Looking good. Yeah, still looking around for, I was going to go on that Darksiders splurge. I'll talk about that in a minute. At the beginning of the show. Still looking for a good action RPG.
Oh, yeah.
I played a bunch of demos, man. A bunch for me. I played like 5 or 6 different demos, and like the 2 I was kind of interested in, 1 not really, but I wanted to give it a fair shake. Neither of them would run.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I was like, huh. All right. Then again, they're demos. They're demos. They got their own issues. Like,
oh, yeah.
By demos, I mean they're like they're early builds of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have bugs or whatever. Like, but that's exactly where I'm at with my gaming. Is like I'll click the play button. If it launches, I might switch to a different Proton version. If I desperately want to play it, I'll go peruse Proton DB and like see if there's any like crazy flags I need to set.
Yeah.
But I really want to play it. Like outside of that, I'm like, whatever. I got like 1,000 games that I haven't played. This one's no different. It is as it is.
I love tea.
Live it.
Tea. Surprisingly low-key launch on Steam.
Avatar. What was it called? Something of Pandora?
Yeah. I think I bought it.
I would have played it.
Yeah.
Yet if it was like done like Horizon Zero Dawn or Tomb Raiders, you know, third person, but I just don't like first person. Like I've played too much first person. Way too much first person. Like all of 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. Like I need something to switch it up a little bit. Cheers, guys.
I like it when they have the option of third or first. I always like that when games do that. That's really nice.
If it's
even
built
doing
like that,
Trackmania.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good one because you got like two third person, you got up close and you got far away. Then you got, you know, if you're a serial killer and you want to race like that.
Yeah.
But then again, that first person is handy, like when you're going through loops and you're doing wall rides and things like. It's got its points.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sure. Are you gonna make this? I got a piece of grain or grit or something, you know, where the chair sticks into the wheelbase.
Yeah.
There's something in there that is making a little grinding noise.
Oh.
But only when I wiggle in a certain position, and it's not bad enough.
Like...
I can feel it. Like I know it's there. It doesn't even pick up on the mic, but I know it's there, and that's the problem. I just don't feel like putting this thing in the vise and like hammering that bottom part out. I probably will. I just got to get around to doing it.
Yeah, Steve. Well, a lot of people are off today. Like my Steve husband, he's out doing chores, getting ready for a trip, and yeah, so a lot of people are off today for Juneteenth, which is really good.
Right. Yeah, I got some games on the Ubisoft store, and I probably got a bunch of games on the Epic store. Not a bunch. I probably got like 10 or 15 or something like that from like free games.
Yeah. Yeah. What's really cool is, you know, Amazon Prime, you know how they give you the free games for Epic and Steam, and I have quite a few. I have like 50 games now on Epic.
Yeah, when they were first giving away the free games, I would pop over, but after that, I just kind of chilled out. I'm like, it's got to be like some game that I know that I'd really want to play but would never buy, which is very few and far between. You know, if I really want to play a game, then like, I'll pick it up. I might pick it up on sale. If I really like it, I'll just buy it when it comes out, or, you know, I'll buy it like right then, but it's got to fall into that area of like, I've always thought about trying that game maybe, and it's all in hopes of like maybe one day Epic will implement something like a Linux client, which will never happen, but
yeah. They figure Lutris is there for that, or the Heroic game launcher. The Heroic game launcher is really nice. And I, of course, love to use Lutris for most of my Epic games. But Heroic is nice. Heroic is good for like new, especially for the first time user.
Heroic's pretty slick.
Yeah, it is. And the first thing I always install is the Proton GE. I gotta use Glorious Egg Rolls Proton. That's what I've been pretty much exclusively using on everything.
I use Proton 9. Stick with Proton 9, and if 9 doesn't do it, kick over to experimental. Like GE was, useful when we had so many like media problems with back in the day when like playing stuff. But like pretty much everything just works in Proton now. So
Yeah, although I've run into quite a few games on Epic that require the Proton GE.
yeah, I haven't run into any on Steam in a long time that required Proton GE. All right, we should be good to go.
Yeah.
We should say GE Proton.
Yeah, GE Proton, yeah.
Guess we're just gonna move those letters around.
Well, it's funny because on not on the what is it? Not on Lutris, but on the Heroic game launcher, it's actually labeled as Proton GE. And yeah.
They just need to update it.
Yeah.
Because the new name is GE Proton instead of Proton.
Yeah.
This is like one of those things, man. Like, you know what I mean. No one's going to say Proton G and be like, oh, what are you talking about? I've never heard of that. Oh, GE Proton. Now I know what you're talking about. Like, Yes, Stan.
Oh, hi, fellow Stan.
Heroic's pretty dope. I was
Yeah.
playing around with that. Looking at something they did an update for, and like I had installed it real quick to give it a lookity-loo, and like, all right.
Yeah, no, they integrated Amazon in there and GOG. It's really nice. Yeah, and it, like I said, it's really great for first-time, users. It's easy to use.
Everything looks pretty smooth. Yeah, I think everything else is doing pretty good. Yeah. I think I'll pull the trigger on this to get going. Almost 3:30, so. Those are loaded.
We're back to having multiple places to look and chat. So now we have two.
There we go. All right, here we go. Good. Big red button coming up. Let me make sure it's working. Yeah, it is. All right. I was having a problem. Like right at the beginning of Linux Gamecast on Saturday, my automation lane from my mute button wasn't working. And I'm like, oh no, I've never seen that error before. I'm like, what do you do? Just blow away the entire track. Fortunately, it was right at the beginning. I was terrified I was going to have to go back and what the automation lanes do is like when I hit the mute button, because with the digital audio workstation, it just records the audio raw. Then it applies effectively a layer of effects on top of everything. It's non-destructive. So when I press mute,
awesome.
It doesn't stop recording. It just doesn't send in an automation lane for like I take an automation lane and I put it on for mute. What that's going to do is give it a point. Say when I hit mute, when it goes to play it back and I put the automation lane in read mode instead of write, and it'll say, hey, I don't play audio here. And you can apply those automation lanes to volume sliders, knobs on anything you want. You get crazy with it. So it wasn't working. And I'm like, am I going to have to manually go back and re-edit my track? Oh no. So I immediately got to work on it in the middle right at the beginning of the show. I just disappeared from the show for 3 minutes. Fortunately, I think Jordan and Pedro were
they were
on
talking
about something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really noticeable. All right, everybody, let's do it.
And then your camera went out too.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
It's that time of year. It's not that bad on Wednesdays. Surprisingly, it's worse at night because the thermal load, when you got the sun hitting you all day long.
Yeah, then the house is all heated up.
Everything's heated up. And then I come in here and cut the ovens on in a room that's insulated. And I'm like, it's just a matter of time. All right, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Wait, hang on. Is that working? Yeah, that's working. Let me do take two. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Ben Stone, joined every week by Jill Bryant. Everybody watching us live over on Twitch. How's it going? Get not one, but two RISC-V laptops to talk about this week.
Yay.
Got some Debian packaging stuff. Yes, we do. And just for fun, we're going to throw in a brand new blue screen of death for Linux. It's going to be interesting. But first, let's do a quick check-in, see what's going on, what's new. So you were posting one of those anime games in Discord last night.
I sure was, Ben. So, I'm having fun playing the beautiful game with absolutely freaking beautiful fantasy vistas called Genshin Impact. And actually, I'm wearing a Genshin Impact shirt with all the slimes on it that you encounter in the game. There's Pyro, Animo, Hydro, and etc., etc. There's lots of different slimes. The only thing about slimes is I don't like killing them, even though you're supposed to. They're supposed to be your enemy because I think they're so cute. But one or two of them eventually become a friend. But yeah, my favorite part of the game is just going around, the open world and discovering new places and new, beautiful lands. Some of them are very magical, like fairy-like, and then you have your harsh deserts and waves of grass flowing, and it's just really, really beautiful. So I've spent most of the game just going and collecting things, portal points and whatnot. I haven't done much fighting. I do some, but mostly exploring.
I like you're having a good time with it. I mean, there's no set way to sit down and you have to play the game like this.
Yeah, that's the beauty of an open world game, and it's really nice to be back in one. I mean, the first one I really, really played and got into was Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be back into one of those kind of games again.
It's good to have a game like that, indeed. The game I've been playing around with is brand new hot property called Darksiders 1. I don't even know. I think it's 20 whenever that came out. That's an old game. I've had it sitting around forever, and I'm like, I'll probably like that game. I'd asked people a long time ago, and I'm like, is there any game similar to Bayonetta? And they're like, Darksiders came up a lot. And I'm like, well, I got Darksiders 4 Mastered Edition. Let me try that. Sit down, play it for a little bit. I think I'd launched it. Actually, I had launched it 2, maybe 3 years ago and looked at it for a minute. But I got back and let me sit down and put a little bit of time in it. I was having a right, but the story was very disconnected. I'm like, what's going on here? Am I missing something? Well, I go to YouTube and I'm like, let me find the movie version. If you ever look for a game, type in movie version, it's just all the cutscenes. Turns out that Proton wasn't rendering half of the story. So I was finishing and I was just skipping these big lore segments of
these cinematics.
That makes more sense than why that person was attacking me.
Oh. Did you go back and find the .mov files anywhere?
No, I was embedded. What I ended up doing, I played it for a little bit more than that. Then I'd get to another point where it'd be confusing. Then I'd pause the game. Then I'd grab the tablet and I'd scrub. I'm like, okay. Then I realized how silly that was. So I just finished watching the game on the movie and I uninstalled
there you
it.
Go.
Yeah, I went to play Darksiders 2. On my system, still doesn't run. There's an open bug ticket for Proton from 2018 that's not been resolved. And I didn't care enough. I might play Darksiders 3. Who knows? That's been my gaming thing. On top of that, I've been working on the, trying to take that a different direction because a lot of us, and pretty much everyone listening to this show is guilty of this, definitely guilty of this, is we like to get our hands on old server hardware, don't we?
Oh, yes.
We do. We do. We're like, I want to play with that, or I have a use for that at home.
Yeah.
And I'm taking that same philosophy with a bit of broadcast audio hardware. You know, if you follow what I do over on interfacinglinux.com, and that's kind of the take I'm going to be working on, at least for the video part, because normally I'm just like, here's the thing, this is how you get it working. That's going to be in the full write-up on Interfacing Linux, but in the video, we're going to walk through, let's get this, let's plug it in and go through all the thinky bits that you're going to need for not just this particular piece of hardware, anything really, and see what we end up with in the end. So that's going to be the journey. I'm still writing that out. Fortunately, I recorded everything of me going through, including using Windows 10, which just made me cranky.
Yeah, it's slow and cranky, yes.
No Windows hate, no Microsoft bashing, just good old-fashioned of like, what is wrong with this thing?
Yeah, the introduction, you know, when you're first launching Windows for the first time and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes just to get through all their questions. I'm like, I could have had Linux installed 10 minutes ago.
Now, I've already found the way around that, Jill.
Oh, yeah, you keep it offline.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't plug it in.
We know all those tricks. Yeah.
Almost, it was just circumstance the first time I installed Windows 10 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I needed it for a FireWire audio interface. I had to change a bit in the firmware, and there was no tools on Linux to do that. So I took one of the spare boxes, I put Windows 10 on it, which was the style at the time, and I put that together and I did it. And just, I didn't have the network. And I'm like, this thing installed great. And I was talking to Pedro about it. I'm like, why do people say, it's like, oh, did you have the network done? And I'm like, absolutely. He's like, that's how you do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Pro tip, you don't have to create an account and do all the stuff. But it's still a nightmare to deal with if you're not familiar with it. If you're familiar with it, I imagine it's the same effect as somebody coming, encountering Linux for the first time.
Yeah, yeah, it is. They're lost.
Dear. So let's go ahead and jump into it for this week, starting with our first RISC-V laptop.
Our first risky laptop. Well, the world's first, yes, as Sven was saying, the very first RISC-V laptop is getting an upgrade and some Ubuntu love. Yay! So Deep Computing has partnered with Canonical to have Ubuntu Linux 23.10 pre-installed on their DC Roma RISC-V laptop too. And Canonical states on their blog, the new
what
DC...
blog? It didn't work, Jill. You're talking to a blank screen of nothingness. Now we're talking to Discord. Whatever will we do? There it is.
Oh, there we go. Aw, you got to see Mir compare me to Klee, one of my favorite characters in Genshin Impact. That was cool. So, but anyways, Canonical actually states the new DC Roma Laptop 2 is the first to feature Space MIT's SoC-K1 with its 8 cores RISC-V CPU running at up to 2.0 gigahertz and with 16 gigabytes of memory. This significantly doubled its overall performance and energy efficiency over the previous generation's 4 cores SoC running at 1.5 gigahertz. And they also state by bringing together 3 key RISC-V players, Deep Computing, Canonical, and Space MIT, the stage is set for continued innovation and exploration in the RISC-V universe. The DC Roma RISC-V Laptop 2 with Ubuntu is the ultimate tool for developers, offering unmatched performance, robust and optimized software integration along with cutting-edge hardware. So this is wonderful that all 3 of these companies are coming together to do RISC-V, development. This is very, very exciting. And Space MIT, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so excuse me. I was going to say Space Mitts, but the T is capital. So, okay, the T is capital. So, anyways, so I actually looked on the Deep Computing order webpage, and the laptop is available for pre-order starting at only $399 on sale. I mean, that's pretty good for a developer laptop. Yeah, isn't it, Vin? Me and you have seen developer hardware that was much more expensive than this.
Well, if you want to spend a lot of money on RISC-V, you can do it. Star 5's got a couple of solutions that you can play around with. And yeah, it's on sale right now, $399. Regular price is 453 wet, stinky caches if you want to do that for your DC Roma laptop. It's good to see Canonical playing around with this and getting involved with it because, I mean, it's the future. Hopefully it's the future.
Yes.
Who knows?
I'm hoping.
ARM would have something different to say about that.
Yeah, they sure would. But yeah, the DC Roma RISC-V Laptop 2 will be on display at the RISC-V Summit Europe 2024 from Monday, June 24th to Friday, June 28th in Munich, Germany. And there's also something cool coming from that conference that we are going to be talking about as well very soon. And yeah, thank you, Artharian, for putting this in our show suggestions on Discord. He's always, a wonderful contributor to the show.
Now, are you ready for it? RISC laptop number 2. That's right. I even got a big RISC-V logo that's going to be bouncing around. You look up top there, framework. Now you should be at least just a little bit excited. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. You know what? If you're not, that's okay. That's okay. But I want to talk about this Framework Laptop 13 mainboard. That's right, man. It's got an unusual CPU architecture because Framework has teamed up with Deep Computing. They're going to be doing their own RISC-V prototype mainboard that's just going to pop right in your existing Framework Laptop 13. Now, this is also going to be showed up at the RISC-V Summit over in Europa this weekend. This one's going to pack the JH71110 processor from Star 5, and that's got like 4 U74 RISC-V cores, and like all the SoC stuff, unfortunately, as this is even the problem with like the M series. A lot of us have looked at Apple and Macintosh, and we're like, that's neat. Like, make sure you have your RAM requirements sorted out because that's going to be on the chip, not upgradable, which is unfortunate. Same story with the RISC-V and, any type of ARM stuff. Memory is going to be soldered in. However, your storage options are going to be between microSD and I can never do that right, eMMC storage. And the best part, like I said, you can just drop that into your existing Framework Laptop 13 chassis. Or if you have one of those Cooler Master, or you just got a pizza box with moles in it that you cut in, just stick it together. That's the beautiful thing about the Framework stuff that they've been rolling out. And that means that you don't have to go out and buy a RISC-V Tinker laptop. You want to play around with a RISC-V? You see how easy it is to swap the main board out on a
wonderful
Framework laptop? It's pop, done.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
You just drive that around and you're like, I need to go back to x86, do things, swap it back out, and you're done. Brilliant idea. And if, Framework ends up with like an ARM solution, pop the ARM in. That makes laptops kind of interesting, even to me, somebody who traditionally doesn't like it. And of course, they're going to be working with Deep Computing, so you're going to get Red Hat, Canonical on board to help out with the Linux bits. But they do stress this is a development board.
Yeah.
Like all things RISC-V. Hardware is one thing, software's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep that in mind. You might want to turn this into your daily driver. But they do have a page up on Framework's website where you can be like, all right, there you go. Give me a notification, give me an email address, and they'll tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't see no pricing information on this. So
no, I didn't either.
Can't be too expensive. I mean, probably like $200, maybe $300.
Yeah.
300 might be pushing it, to be honest with you. But like, $250 maybe.
Yeah.
What do you think, Joe?
Good range. Yeah, this is really fantastic news. And I'm so happy that Deep Computing reached out not only to Canonical, but Framework too. Framework, is my favorite computer manufacturer of modular, sustainable, repairable, and upgradable laptops. In fact, my next one is going to be a Framework 16. So my next laptop. That will be awesome. And, what's cool is that this announcement came right after Framework's announcement of major upgrades to the Framework 13 laptops. that we talked about 2 weeks ago. You know, a higher resolution screen, a better processor, and even with Intel Arc support. Really cool. And yeah, like Ven was saying, when the board comes in stock, you can be notified by Framework Computer via email on their website listed in our show notes.
It's pretty interesting. And
Yeah.
you might have seen some of the, be it RISC-V, be it ARM. A lot of us are fascinated with anything that's just not x86, just because it's a different architecture, or maybe you're interested in lower power usage. And a couple of reviews of the Snapdragon that we talked about last week have kind of came out. A lot of them have been delayed because Microsoft hit the brakes real quick and like, let us take out that psychopathic AI thing that was going to spy on you real quick before
Windows
you do
recall.
your dude. Well, a lot of people are just not happy with Microsoft right now. Like, we would like to publish these. But what has come out is, and they immediately did the thing that I'm like, don't do that. But you know what? It is fair. They're comparing it against the x86 gaming performance between, what Intel has and AMD. So if you're going to look at it through that lens, which you rightfully should for a laptop, if that's your thing, is performance is closer to the, it's a little bit slower than the Apple M3 at 1080p, low gaming, it's doing the emulation and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe not all that interesting in like a laptop form factor, but when you take that chip and put it in a Steam Deck size handheld,
yes,
then it's able to give you performance that, we're talking 1080p 30. This is where you would expect 1080p 30, 1080p 40, or 720 if you're talking about a Steam Deck, for like 8 hours, man.
Yeah.
Of just like hard gaming. I'm looking at it like that. Performance will probably improve. I'm not going to like champion the thing saying it's perfect because this is like the first gen, but it's definitely the most powerful like consumer ARM thing that we're going to be able to get, reasonable in a package that we can just start playing with. So
yeah, so true.
I'm excited about all of this stuff. Yeah.
And it's just so nice to have, one of my favorite architectures, RISC, from the 90s, with my DEC Alpha and Sun chips and whatnot. And now we're seeing it highly optimized and
they're trying it again.
Yeah, it's really cool.
we're going to have options. A lot of us, you might have, at a certain age, like you remember a time, like we didn't really have like on the consumer end, even back in the day, it was still pretty much, we went from, Amigas and stuff like that to x86. x86 just won, and it won hard.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're a 90s baby, it's been all x86 except for ARM, on your mobile devices. The idea of, a desktop ARM solution just doesn't occur to you. I'm like, not really. Apple's kind of changed. They flipped the thing on that.
Yeah, they did.
When Apple started with the M1, I was like, now that everybody else can copy it, and it's taken a while. So here we are.
Yeah.
Good times, at least interesting times. And I think a lot of us are most appreciative of having something to be interested in again.
Yes, absolutely. And having, multiple architectures out again. That was the beauty of living in the, 70s, 80s, 90s. We had so much we could choose from.
Play around with. Now, moving on to package management, because, you want a topic that'll really get people engaged.
Aww. Well, this is great for especially those people that are new to Linux. So now that we have Ubuntu, on the world's first RISC-V laptop, it is time for them to fix a nagging annoyance with the App Center. Yeah. So Ubuntu will soon be allowing Deb applications that you download to be installed in their software center once again. Woohoo! Like it used to be before the Flutter-based software center was even made. And of course, you can install Debs from the Ubuntu repositories from within the App Center, but you couldn't install ones that you had downloaded from other sites in the App Center. And I personally have been using the GDebi GUI installer for years, and also I really enjoy PopOS's Deb installer called Eddy, which is really nice. Although, like, me and Ven were talking about before the show started, normally I install a Deb using dpackage or apt in the command line. That's just, where we go is the command line. And so, but this is really great news because Canonical has been getting a lot of complaints from people. We need to install Debs within the software center. So this feature will actually roll out very soon in Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. But if you want to try it sooner, you can switch to the Snap Store package to the --edge channel right now, in the Edge channel. So you can go try it out right now if you would like. And their software center has improved so much, honestly, since it's been on Flutter. It's so much quicker than it was. So I really like the improvements with the Flutter installer.
It's pretty interesting. If you run Ubuntu and you use that, I mean, it's not the biggest problem you got, but it's one of them. So there you go, though. My big thing that stuck out to me was sideload debs.
Yeah.
we're going to bring mobile phone technology.
I know. I read that and I'm like, nah, I don't call them that. I'll call them third-party debs or, ones you download.
I call them what they are, Debian packages. There's no addition to that. They're just Debian packages. Everything else fanfic. It's just a Debian package. Doesn't matter who it came from. It's just a Debian, which is just a archive of files in the Debian package. You don't need to put niceties on it. Yes, sideload for the mobile crowd, for the Zoomers out there, so they understand. I get why. I get why they would say it like that. Whoever wrote this, like, give them a good analogy that they would get.
Yes.
So, with all the malware popping up in like the Snap Store, I've talked about it, and Jill's talked about it, and with the crypto wallets and other bits, the multiple times that's happened, and even on the Flatpak side, not the malware, but how many, I run into this constantly, the unverified, Flatpaks. Like, I've installed Reaper from Flatpak. Why doesn't it work? And I'm like, because you installed Reaper with a Flatpak. Reaper didn't publish that. Reaper would probably give you a functioning product. All these other issues, the idea that downloading a Debian package, like we've been doing since the beginning of forever, is somehow harmful, or it's just crazy to me. It is.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that.
Now I understand why they say it like this. Now I understand why they say it like that, because but anything that you download from supersketchy.cx is going to be a problem. Do you want to try to keep everything that you have on your system, coming from a repository? Yeah, you do, mainly just for upgradability. But like being able to sideload, and like Joe was saying, we talked about it in the pre-show. Go back and listen to that if you're a patron. It'll be in the uncut version. The idea of an app store has never appealed to me, and I've definitely tried them throughout the years. Debian doesn't have one. Fedora never really had one. Ubuntu's had one. Traditionally, I haven't tried their new one. The old one, it was slow, it was clunky, and I'm like, what is the point of this? It just angered and confused me, because 3 words, 3 letters, followed by a tab button, is all you need to install a Debian package from the command line. That's it. We're talking sudo apt install package name. Now, you can still use dpackage. I still get some static from that, just like dpackage I, which works. But if you use the apt install, you get dependency resolutions. I use that when I'm downloading the, I had to do that before Trackmania last night, because Discord's decided that they're going to update the Debian package for their desktop client like 3 times a week now. Which I go to start it and like download that, and like I just do dependency resolution on that just in case I throw something extra in there. But on the Debian packages that I make, and I make Debian packages for OBS, I do kernel packages and driver packaging for myself. But I use dpackage for that because I know everything's right. Yeah, no worries there, no booga. I wouldn't call it a safer option, but I mean, I'm glad it's there. I wonder why that wouldn't been an option, because I think it was an option in the old one.
It was, and then they redid the installer with Flutter, and which is, it just took them a while to get everything finished, I guess.
It's there. Don't worry about it. Just close it, open a terminal. I will keep going back to this. You're using Linux. This isn't Windows. Learn how to use command line. Anybody who's telling you that you don't have to know how to use a command line to run Linux, it's blowing smoke up where. Don't listen to them either. All right. Old man Vin's trying to look out for you. Let's talk about the blue screen of death. BSOD. Oh, no. You know it. The frowny face. OMG, kernel panic at the disco, baby. Yes. all the way back in January of last year, I talked about a new component, systemd-bsod, is being worked on to show logged error messages full screen. You know, we're like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
This is because it's effectively the blue screen of death, but for Linux. However, what if things get crashy outside of user space, say like a kernel panic? Well, here it is. This is it. This is DRM panic. It's the BSOD for Linux. It's the DRM KMS drivers. It's going to be included with the kernel 6.10 and up, which is dope. So, you know, if it crashes coming up, going down, boom, there you go. And hopefully it'll have some good information on the screen itself. Nuvo DRM panic patches are being worked on right now, but all the systemd stuff, it should be ready to go. And Xavier, got a little, a gentleman from over at Red Hat. So this is what it looks like. This little penguin exclamation point, and you know, the kernel panic followed by, hey, you could probably put some hopefully useful information below that, right?
Yeah.
That would be good.
On Linux, it'll be a lot more useful than the Windows rhetoric.
Hopefully.
Than those VXD issues. Or
it has the ability to, like, just like, admittedly, all the screenshot says is like, what does it say? Please reboot your computer, which, you know, if you put there's been some talk back and forwards about whether or not they should include QR codes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, long as it's useful error output, I don't care one way or the other. Like, and it's something that you'll be able to cut off to. But like troubleshooting tools, the more the better. Yeah, it resembles that. Why does it resemble something like that? What? Because it's not a bad idea. Like the blue screen and other, it's just
kind of universal.
Make it useful. You know, give me tell me what went wrong, not just like a dump of like, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. So if it can give me useful information, especially information that would otherwise be difficult to get to and is not logged.
Yes.
Let's do it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great idea and extremely helpful. The only suggestion I have is if it could be, well, maybe text penguins colors instead, maybe yellow writing on black or white and yellow together. I don't know. Text penguin colors instead of Windows colors.
Let's make it blink really fast.
Yeah. Oh, I know, Ven, even better. We can make it an ASCII. Just like the little penguin was in the corner. I gotta make everything ASCII.
And people are going to want to animate it, and it'll just be downhill from there. That's neat. And it's familiar. So, there we go. Not one, but two opportunities to run into blue screens. That's pretty decent. So that's going to do it this week. Look at that. Everything just flew by. We covered not one, but two risky laptops, Debian installations, and a blue screen and down. Again, the second one. Stay tuned. I don't want anybody to be surprised and terrified when they see a blue screen. You're like, who's pranking me?
Oh,
this is Linux. I don't have blue screens. You're like, but you do.
I like what Mir said in chat. How about use Cowsay to print the messages? That's great. I love that, Mir.
Yet another option. Indeed. So before we get out of here, I do want to thank Casey Clissom, who has increased their pledge over on patreon.com/Linux Gamecast, and we're financing all this crazy stuff that we do. Not just this show, Linux Gamecast Weekly. We got other streams. We do Trackmania. If you want to get into some 2013 retro gaming goodness with a good group of people, we got our own private server, and we stream it on Twitch. We got over 1,500 tracks that we've played over the past year, almost 2 years, and we do that on Tuesdays and Fridays. Everything's over on Linux Gamecast, and just link up your Patreon account, or if you're a Twitch subscriber, thank you all equally. Link that up to your Discord, and we got a room just for Trackmanias pinned up to the top. It's got a server password and all the stuff and times that we get together, and it's very regular. So, you know, if you've been looking for that group of people and like, hey, I'm an adult, making friends sucks. I don't know how to do it. There you go, built in, ready to go, and we're all hanging out, very welcoming. So, and you don't have to be good at it because none of us are. We just do it for fun. It's challenging. It keeps all of our digits going. But while you're over at Linux Gamecast, tap that support button. Speaking of that, we do have the Patreon. We have LibrePay, PayPal, Bitcoin. Great ways to support the show. All the podcasts Host all that myself and ad free. Don't have to worry about it. Plus, with YouTube injecting video ads now
Oh boy.
that are not going to be skippable,
Yeah.
I got you covered. $1 a week. You get the video version over at Patreon. You can download it, play it, whatever you want. I make it myself and I put it up. I knew doing that was going to pay off at some point.
Yeah.
So if you
all these years it has finally been.
There we go. Just go grab that and watch it yourself. And of course, we got Amazon wish list. If you wonder what this blinky wall is behind me, I used to always watch how people were like, "Oh, you subscribe, and I'm going to write my name." And I'm like, I thought that was just hilarious. So that's the wall of fine, upstanding cannibals. If you pick up anything for the studio, send in a note. I'll put your name up there. We do a little ceremony. And Jill's got one as well with a bunch of plushie notes. So if you want Jill to say
we're
something,
penguins.
right, contribute to the sickness that is that collection. And store.linuxgamecast.com, we got some merch, like little stickers, things like that. We got Frank's Obey shirt, which is great, which is not related to Fedora or IBM at all. I don't know why people keep making that connection. Strange. And humble affiliates, all the like little things we got for the show. And of course, if you have questions and you want to talk to me about audio, video, multimedia production, getting all that set up under Linux, go to interfacinglinux.com, where I have this brilliant idea. I call it a forum.
Yes.
Breaking
awesome.
cutting edge technology. Or maybe I'm just bringing it back. And put your questions in there. I'll get back to you, man. Like, I'm trying to build a real database of actual solutions, not just people banging and slapping on their keyboard, sending people in circles. Like, I'm not going to tell you something I don't know how to do. Interfacinglinux.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing the show. Time to roll some credits.
Yeah, thank all our beautiful patrons. Some of which we've been talking to on our Discord chat. Our advisors, Omegas and Artherin, our executive producers, David, Drummer, Eshep, Ian, our Chicago Kicks level people, Super Dust Out, Empty, Blasmia, our Sea Monsters, Hakeem, David, Darkwing, System T, Mark, BSNG Joe, Dirty Dean, our Death Notes, Ogie One, Casey Clism, Swine, and our chairlings like Mir and Chat and Nubbin.
Good times had by some. Yeah.
Yes, I got to thank some of them. So,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, get out there, have some fun with it. Go play around. Let us know in the comments if you got some thoughts on these risky laptops, because I'm curious. So are you gonna buy something like that? Oh no, I might not. But we'll see you again next week, right here on Twitch. Come watch us live, or don't. I'm not your boss.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Love you all. See if Ben can do it. That's funny, Ben. That's pretty funny.
All right. Oop. There we go. All right, do I have the status thing? Where's the statuses? I gotta reorganize. I changed the layout of my OBS dramatically.
Oh, okay. So now you're lost.
Yeah, I moved everything. I used to have like the VU meters in the bottom, and I'd have some over here, but I'd have the sources and the scenes over. Now I got everything like stacked on top of each other, which is more efficient use of space. But it's been a heck of a time with my brain. Like, it wants to look where things are not. And just spatial memory, basically. Status 2, that's what I'm looking for. So I go to pre-show to after shows, and was that going to do its thing? Oh, I didn't put the effect on there. That's no fun. We need the glitch effect on after shows in 2. Here, let's go ahead and do that live, because if it crashes right now, oh no, it's the after show.
Yeah. Oh, welcome, Undeclared X. Nice to see you on Twitch.
Where are we at?
And Scoots was in the house.
User-defined shatter.
Oh, and Basil's here. Yay, Basil. And he just updated his Patreon. The text was in front of it. Okay, the text was in front of it, so I couldn't see what it was.
No, he resubbed on Twitch.
He resubbed. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says in the Twitch chat there.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 53 months, Basil. And I agree with you. You know, that's a controversial opinion
Oh, there
that
it
you've
is.
typed
It
out.
came up.
But I agree with that opinion. You know,
You know what's... Yeah. Yeah. No. You know what's funny, Vin, is on my Twitch chat, it took a second because Basil said the A first, and then he resubscribed, but it took mine a few seconds to come up. Subscribed at tier 2 for 53 months. That's awesome, Basil.
But we're looking for a shader called Glitch, and I think it's going to be located in the G's. There we go. Look at it go.
Oh, cool.
It's going crazy. How crazy can it go? Oh, it can go even crazier.
Oh, my.
Can it go even faster? Yup. That's not even glitching. That's just spazzing out.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take our amount to 2 and put the speed on.
Yeah, that's fine.
5, maybe 6, maybe 5. That's good enough. There we go. Got to do quite a bit of stacking on for such a simple effect, because when you add the glitch effect, it wants to add naturally. You know, if you're doing like a color RGB, it's going to add those bits. What's the word? Artifacts. You know, like red, blue glitch that you would normally see, but that doesn't work when you have a black and white image because you don't want to see color in it. What I have to do is have these effects with their filters on it, then have a group effect on top of that with a filter on the group effect, which pulls all the saturation out of it.
Oh, okay.
If there's a will, there's a way, kids. You can make it work. So that's, if you're ever... I haven't even done a video on the plugin I use to do these. These are real-time OpenGL shaders to do this stuff. You know, it's the same thing, that effect that makes the 426 bounce around up here, or 428.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's all done in real time. You know, you can be like, 428, that's silly. I wanted to say moo. And it'll happily sit there and glitch away.
Oh, look at all the different colors come in.
Yeah. What is it going to be next week? 429 probably, unless arithmetic changes on us. There we go.
Yeah.
So traditionally, I would take that every week. I would take those 3 numbers, and I would increment it by 1 and render it out in DaVinci Resolve into a 10-minute video. No, 5-minute video. There were 2 5-minute videos that were stuck together with a glitch effect in the middle of them. This I can just do in real time. So it saves that extra step each and every week. One thing I enjoy about streaming is there's always bunches and bunches of stuff for me to play around with.
Yeah.
It keeps
Always new plugins and fun and effects.
I like unsolved problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or things with enough RNG in them to where it keeps me interested. And, you know, that applies to gaming too, especially like my 2 favorite sports. I don't even really want to call either one of them a sport. Activities, recreational activities, bowling and pool.
Oh,
billiards.
Yeah.
Why? Because I cannot reliably master either of them. There's always uncertainty to it.
Well, I imagine you're pretty good at pool because you used to own a bar and you play. Did you play almost every night?
I didn't even have a pool table.
Oh, okay. You didn't.
I had pinball machines.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I had a bar to make money, not for people to sit around and mess up my pool table.
Yeah.
I used to play pool back in the day, but I was never great at it, and I've never aspired to be great at pool. I've always I like pool for it being a physics puzzle, same way I like Trackmania.
Yeah.
I look at it, you know, it's a puzzle. One of the reasons I like doing audio stuff. For me, audio correction, fixing all the stuff that I do, it's a puzzle. Like, I need to sort it out because stuff you do on this end is going to affect the metal and it's going to affect the output. And it's getting all that to work together. And the same way with bowling. Like, I never bowled a 300. Like, I was happy if I bowled 100 plus.
Mm-hmm.
That was just done. And, but I just enjoy it. You know, I like working at
it's a social activity too. You play with friends and it's fun.
That was a good time.
Yeah, I knew pool. I could really get into it, but I just never really had the opportunity much. I thought about getting a pool table, but we don't really have space in the house for one because Steve enjoys playing it. He's really, even though he doesn't play often, he's really good at it. He's good at the physics. So it's funny. He's won people that are experienced players. And he he maybe touches it once a year, but he's just good with the math and everything. I'm not. It's not that I'm not. I just, yeah.
Hey, I'll whip you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go to the pub. Yeah, we actually have close to us a family pub where kids can go too, and I thought of going in there because you can play pool. They have like 4 pool tables. That's fun.
I like playing on bar pool tables. If I'm going to play pool, I will go to the pool hall because they have real pool tables, aka tournament tables, full-size tables, instead of those little ones that you get in bars.
Yeah, we have the full-size ones at our local bowling alley.
The easy way to find out if it's got a ball return in it, it ain't full size.
Yeah.
If it's got pockets, chances are it's full size. All right. I think that's going to wrap us up. I'm going to go ahead and get this punched in. I got to finish recording. I got to do the editing. Man, I got to edit down that audio science. I got to edit the video and actually go back and take a look. I got like an hour of recordings to go through of, see, this is going to be the challenge. Like, how cool do I want to make myself look? Because it's effectively just a live recording of me going through, like, not knowing anything outside of just, what I know about what I know and trying to figure out, like, what bits do we need to get this up and running? Spoilers, it didn't work out of the box. And, yeah, that's going to be the temptation of like, oh, I could easily edit that. You can do a lot of stuff in edits and make it look like, oh yeah, of course, I got this figured out. I didn't. We took some wrong turns. I think I'm going to leave most of that in there, if not all of it. It depends on how it fits together, but I got to chop up those segments to do my David Attenborough narration over the top of that. So when people are watching, it won't be silent video or some really bad, like AI generated voice to text. I hate those videos. Hate those.
Yeah, videos. I hate those too. Yeah.
Try to look at an instructional video. Well, it's just I know they're low effort and they're bad.
Yeah.
They're lazy. Like I'm not taking my tech tips from AI generated voice stuff. Like
yeah,
that's somebody just churning out a bunch of videos. Not looking for it. Anything else? I'll check my email real quick. Make sure nothing crazy happened. All right. Nikon firmware. GOG. Hey, look, a GOG email didn't land in the spam folder. Well, wonders never cease. That's something I did for Linux Gamecast, and that's what I did on Monday. I finally put together all the DMARC email authentication along with all the SPF. The entire stack, I made everything green on it, man. I don't know. I made it green. That's what I did. All that knowledge has been lost. I needed it for an afternoon. I got it. I got all the stuff, assign the keys and verification. Like it passes now, so it's good. I don't even remember why I did it. Oh, because I wanted to play around with some tool in Cloudflare. Cloudflare has a thing.
Oh, okay.
What is it called? Let me see. Let's log into Cloudflare. You know what? Let's not log into Cloudflare because I don't feel like getting my authenticator out. It's that time of the month. Everybody knows it's different for everybody. From like all of the sites and services that you have two-factor on, which should be all of them. You have, for me, I have two-factor authentication day because, you know.
Yeah.
You have that you tend to do everything on one day and that next month rolls around and it's like everything I need to log into. And it gets broken up because you don't log into all the things on the same day. But
yeah,
it's usually like re-up the two-factor week effectively. And you got to go do that. And if it's got the option to save, I always save it because I'm lazy and insecure. No. Yeah, I forget what the tool was called in Cloudflare. Basically allows you to track who is sending email on your behalf or anything. Like,
oh, okay.
It was kind of dumb, but I was like, what's this do? It was that. I wasn't doing anything. I was like, hey, it's a thing. How do I play with the thing? I'm going to play with the thing. So you just end up doing good stuff, like things that needed to get done anyway to play with the thing. So now I can play with the thing. But now that I can play with the thing, like any child, I don't want to play with it anymore. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. See if you can get into something, get up to something. Go play with some things, do whatever you want to go. Go install a vintage operating system like Windows 10. And,
yeah.
That PC wouldn't even shut down. I had to. Maybe it would have shut down given enough time. Because I did have to plug the network in to get some data that I needed over there for the drivers. And I went to power it off because I'm like, well, I'm going to keep this Windows 10 installed. It's that Windows 10 copy. I don't want to ever have to reinstall it. And it's like, you need to hold on. We're doing some updates. We're not going to power off right now. Can you imagine?
Oh, God.
Can you imagine? Like, I told you to shut down.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing and shut down. You can take care of that later, like maybe on the next boot. But don't hang on when you shut down. I shut it down. We'll find out whether or not it comes back up. I don't know. I don't care. That drives image, man.
Yeah.
I'll blow it away and just put another one back on there. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.